and white trash talking.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson, and this is White Trash Talking. Before I begin, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Although I want world peace and I abhor violence, I would not describe myself as a pacifist. I'm not against pacifists, and some of the most noble people on the planet are pacifists. I practiced martial arts for many years, and I believe that sometimes, when all else fails, you need to fight in order to stand your ground, to protect others, or to protect yourself. But I would argue that the need to actually fight is much rarer than we realize, and the need to kill is even more rare. I'm concerned and frightened, actually, about the moral decay of US leaders who flagrantly disparage international and domestic laws while promoting violence. In doing so, they trash the norms and values that have sustained human civilization over the millennia. Here's a recent clip from Fox News of an interview with Jim Hanson, who is a retired US Army Special Forces soldier. He is defending the US's right to murder negotiators from other countries.
I keep hearing that we can't kill the leaders of another country when we're negotiating with them. I'm sorry, that's not how the rules work. Right. The rules say we can't invite them to a negotiation, sit them at a table, and then go all Game of Thrones red wedding on them. That's against the rules. But once they have shown that they're not going to work and they're actually an obstacle to peace, then we have every right to go ahead and turn some of those people into their component molecules and fly some missiles in through their windows to make sure that the rest of the people who are negotiating on that side know not to mess around with President Trump. And I can guarantee that the CIA and Mossad have a list of people who could be that have that happen to that is long and distinguished. That could be a good next step.
I was speechless when I first heard this. This discourse is new in mainstream media. When I was growing up, commentators were not allowed to talk so graphically of killing others or to show complete disregard for laws and moral values. Of course, the US has been murdering people around the world for the last 100 years or more, but there was a tacit understanding among the elite that it was illegal, would cause a backlash, and therefore must be covered up. The people never lost hope that law and morality would prevail in the end and that the killings would stop. But now, by removing the mask, the US is openly declaring its moral degeneracy. Alastair Crooke, former British diplomat and intelligence officer, had this to say in response to Jim Hanson.
I just think that we are experiencing a complete nihilistic moral collapse in the West in so many ways, about money, about the sort of absolute brashness with which the administration in Washington just takes money and it doesn't even hide it. Is actually proud that it's screwed another $1 billion or $2 billion from other people, and also the sheer lack of morality that we see, that we've seen in Gaza. And comments like that are just, I mean, what can one say? They're just really quite disgusting. How do we get back? That's the question, is how do we rebuild some moral values in the Western world? That is what we have to do, because we have lost sight of what it is to be human. We are undermining civilization. Our civilization and all civilizations, by these sort of completely amoral actions that we take place. We have to try and find a way of recreating a civilizational structure that provides, if you like, the moral foundations for how people behave and how they are. They always come basically from your old myths and narratives of a civilization. These are the stories, the moral stories, that create the architecture by which ordinary people steer their lives and live. And when you lose that, you are on a path to utter destruction. And that was an example of someone on the path to having no moral standing at all, to suggest that it's fine to kill leaders of other countries. It's really very, very distressing to hear that, but it should be condemned clearly.
I couldn't agree more with Alastair Crooke. Around the same time as the Fox interview, Scott Ritter, former U.S. Marine and weapons inspector, appeared on Dialogue Works, an alternative media podcast, and had this to say regarding Israel's refusal to abide by the MOU.
Iran won the war. I give them full credit for that. But they're losing the peace right now. If you believe in the MOU, you're believing that Israel can be tamed. Israel can't be tamed. It's a rabid beast. You're believing the United States can be tamed. We can't. We have a cult of personality that's just insane. So shoot the dog. That's the only solution. Here's a hint to Iran. Kill Bibi Netanyahu, and Israel would devolve into civil war.
I will admit that I was not shocked by Scott Ritter's words, but I was shocked by Jim Hanson's. But aren't they saying the same thing? Aren't they both dehumanizing the other side? I mean, rabid dog? And advocating for murder of a foreign leader? Have we forgotten that these wars could end immediately if the U.S. stops funding and arming foreign militaries? That Congress can impeach Trump now to stop his warmongering? As I said, I'm not a pacifist, but killing others must be the rare exception, not the rule. Otherwise, we may also find ourselves on a kill list. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. I'll see you next time. Bye.